Dude, Sterling, I did, man. Like as soon as I went live, I had to go blow my nose. That's why I didn't go. I didn't go live as soon as it started because I had to get up and go blow my nose. So, uh, that's the situation that I had to deal with there. So, looking at this week's race at Michigan, I think the first thing we need to address is Larson. Let me bring up some lineups really quick. So, as many times this year, a lot of the data supports to Kyle Larson, and like it's really not even close. The tracks that I'm looking at, the main ones that I'm looking at are Charlotte, Pocono, and or Charlotte, 2 Pocono races, and even Atlanta. And he killed at Charlotte because I think Charlotte is the best identification every year to see where teams are in the intermediate package. I know this is a 2-mile racetrack, but how good they are in the intermediate package and where they are in terms of Aero and Pocono showed that. I mean, he should have won both races. And so Larson is by far the best car today. I understand his 18th place finish, had some things happen there, but I'm perfectly fine with him being 18th at Atlanta. Hold on a second. Let me, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go blow my nose again. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry about that. We'll try this again. Take number 2. I don't know why it's so bad today. Like, I just woke up today and my nose has been running like wild. So either way, even outside of Charlotte, the 2 Pocono races, Larson is the guy that the data all points to. That's just how it is. I'm not trying to argue that. Everything says play Larson. And it's the exact same situation to where, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen the same way, but the John Hunter Nemechek play on Friday at Gateway was not wrong. It was not the bad play. All the data supported John Hunter Nemechek being the fastest car. If you looked at everything, at the tracks they've ran, at how he's ran, everything pointed to John Hunter Nemechek. They just ended up showing up with a truck that was not set up for the track. They were too loose. He had the misfire out of 4 that caused the big pileup. Playing John Hunter Nemechek was not a bad play. Like everything said, played John Hunter Nemechek. The bad play there were the dumbasses who played Jordan Anderson at 30%. Like I think that's a bad play. And so when you enter this week at Michigan, Kyle Larson is the play. Kyle Larson is the good play. I currently have Larson as my highest scoring. Let me copy this up in a separate tab. I currently have Larson as my highest scoring driver, and I think most people do. I have him at 70.5? Let's see, 70.25, 70.3 points. That's 6.1x. I'm giving him 41 laps led, 29 fast laps. I'm sure he's going to get more if he ends up walking away with this race. And so that's just how it is. I think the popular lineups are going to be... I'm going to open this again. I think popular lineups are going to be ones like Kyle Larson, Alfredo, Bell, and Dylan. even outside of that, we'll probably have let me do it. Larson, Keselowski, Brad Keselowski, Dylan Reddick. I think that'll be popular. I think we're gonna see probably same thing with Bell. I still do Larson again, so probably Larson, Bell, probably Dylan again, and then McDowell. Like I think those are going to be very, very popular plays, and everything's pointing to, like, you know, a lineup like that being optimal. And the way I'm going to approach this race is I have very little on the line here. I think I have like $35 on DraftKings, almost $10 on FanDuel, and everybody already knows that for the majority of this month, all my bankroll's been pushed to Daytona, just because those are the tracks I like to target with a ton of entries, and so that's how it is. So I don't have a whole ton right in here. Some single entries on DraftKings, but not even in the big, you know, 88 or 44 like I normally play. And because of that, I'm fading Larson, and so let's try and poke holes into the Larson situation here, and I'll even poke holes into the everybody's points racing situation. And so if you're points racing, you're not points racing. Nobody is points racing, okay? Reddick still has to perform well. Dylan needs to perform well. I would argue those are the only two idiots points racing, and they still need to perform well. Dylan certainly after last week. And so I don't see anybody points racing at all. I see everybody who does not have a win, and certainly everybody who's not in the playoffs, is in a must-win situation. And the reason I tweeted that last night, and some people were DMing me like, what do you mean you're going to argue Michigan's easier to win at? Well, we've seen in the past that Michigan gets cautions late in the race, and I mentioned it in the video of I think this has a really, really high chance of getting really stupid late in this race. If we have a yellow with like 20 to go, either a blown tire, debris, somebody spins out, anything causes a yellow towards the end of this race, I think it's going to get really, 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 really stupid. You're going to have guys staying out on tires. You're going to have, and I know we saw that yesterday in the Xfinity Series race where, Allgaier just took fuel. Barry ran him down, but if it's a green-white checkered finish, a lot of people are pinning. You know, people are going to stay out, like DeBenedetto, or people like Haley, or people like Jones, or Stenhouse. And some of these guys are going to stay out on old tires and just do something stupid. The leader does not have as much control as we would like him to have at this race. I would argue that this is probably one of the few tracks to where you need more than just a fast car to maintain the lead here. And so, obviously, Larson's going to start on the outside lane here, but can he keep that up throughout the entire race? Like, if he's restarting first every time, the cars behind him have the situation of, okay, do I stay behind him? Do I pass him? Do I try and throw it on the outside in turn one? If I don't push Larson, or if somebody doesn't push Larson, or if the line doesn't work with Larson, he's going to get passed on the bottom, and somebody's going to, you know, do a slide job and go up in front of him, try and slow him down, or he's going to get cars on his outside and his inside, and then they're going to be 4 wide out of turn 2. And I think there's an argument to be made that Larson is not in as much control as we would like here. And so, personally, I truly believe they're going to end up wrecking the field late in this race. I truly believe they're going to be wrecking the field for the lead late in this race. And as I said in the video on Friday, and I'm not just saying it because we had the incident at Indy and other situations this year, but I honestly believe that good plays are going to crash late in this race, and bad, ugly plays are going to be optimal. That's just how it is. Certainly, if there's going to be a high ownership to Larson with the higher than normal percentage that this race might not play out in Larson's favor, not due to anything Larson does. Larson could be 100% perfect all day and still not have the lane work with him late in the race, or work with him on a race, and he doesn't get the laps led. He might get just fast laps. There's a lot of cars that can lead in this race, and so at this point, seeing, you know, where all the ownership is, seeing where everybody's talking, I'm either on you go 100% Larson or you go 0% Larson today. I don't think it's even worth matching the field. I don't think it's even worth, you know, being 80%. I think you just go 100% or just completely fade Larson and try and get more ownership to guys that might not be as highly owned, like a Truex Jr., like a Kyle Busch, like a Denny Hamlin. Maybe Kyle Busch will be popular as well. But this just seems like a race to where, playing the ownership game and on a chance to where we might have cautions late in this race. I think that makes a lot of sense, and that's personally what I'm going to do. I'm only running one line, and so my projections right now don't necessarily reflect the way I'm building lineups, because I have to project, Larson to walk away with this, or not walk away, but like I said, I have him with 41 laps led, 29 fast laps. I don't think that's crazy. And most of the times I cut off projections at like 70, because if you score 70 points, you're most likely already optimal, and so you can just keep on bumping Larson up. I have him right now at 70.3. I have people like Alex Bowman getting fast laps and laps led, Ryan Blaney getting fast laps and laps led as well, even Trix, Kyle Busch, Harvick, Hamlin. I have all these guys possibly leading laps, but I truly believe that place differential is going to be really, really important today. And certainly if Larson has an issue, or if some of these expensive guys starting up front have an issue, like if Larson doesn't lead a good portion of the race, if Kyle Busch doesn't lead a good portion of the race, if Harvick, even if Hamlin doesn't lead a good portion of the race, then it defaults to some of the higher place differential plays, like a Byron, like a Keselowski, like a Logano, and so on. I think it's worth approaching it like that. I probably need to pop cores. Probably need to put that there. Pop cores for people who tune in here late. So let's kind of see what other people are thinking here. Let's see. Troy, I'm hoping. I'm telling you, dude, this close, man. This fucking close to killing someone in ARCA. I mean, we're so close. They're trying. They are trying to kill someone, dude. They're so close. They're so close. And they're gonna keep wrecking. There's no fucking way this race goes clean, man. There's absolutely no way. Oh yeah, so going back to why I would argue this race is easier to win than Daytona. Daytona, you have to worry about 160 laps of a wreck happening, of you getting taken out no matter what position you're in. At Michigan, you're only really racing the field for the first 3 laps of a restart. If we have 10 restarts, that's 30 laps. I would much rather be starting 4th at Michigan with 3 laps to go than starting 4th at Daytona, because I think you have a higher chance of getting wrecked at Daytona than you do here at Michigan. Even if they end up wrecking here at Michigan, you might be able to slingshot on the outside. And so I would argue if you're in a must-win situation, you might as well approach this race just balls out. Try wild strategies, stay out late, dive it in 4 wide, 5 wide, not even clear yourself out at 2. So hopefully that happens there. I think Alfredo is like I said, I'm approaching this race as a wreck fest, but I currently have Alfredo for 28 points. I think Alfredo is a great play. I'm not playing him. Like I said, I'm building more towards the wreck fest, but I think Alfredo makes a shitload of sense. Underpriced, too underpriced. I got him right now at 4.8x. I think he easily hits 5x. I think you need Alfredo. Especially if you're playing Larson. That's why I'm thinking the Larson, Alfredo, Bell, Dillon lineups are going to be very popular, because that's probably what's appearing to be optimal right now if everything goes the way it should. I don't think Alfredo is a trap at all. Look, anybody can wreck each and every week. I don't think there's bad chalk in this race at all. And there's nobody else to play in his price range. There's absolutely nobody else to play even remotely close to Alfredo other than McDowell. And so let me bring up their prices over here. But Alfredo just makes a ton of sense. So we could kind of poke holes into his theory. So let's go find Alfredo, and we can look at the tracks that I would look at. So Alfredo at Charlotte, 25th. Pocono, 26th. That's gonna get it done. That's today. Second Pocono race, finished 34th, got in a wreck, I believe, with Corey LaJoie. Don't remember. Don't really care, because it's Alfredo. But if Alfredo can get to 25th, 26th, 24th in this race, you're going to be just fine. He's not going to kill you. And he could finish DFL and really not kill you, because there's not going to be a ton of ownership, 2 guys lower in him on the price range. And so I think Alfredo makes a really, really good play. Because you're not playing LaJoie. You're not obviously, because he's out. You're not going to play Barry. You're not playing Where you can make an argument for BJ, you can make an argument for don't like him, not going to be playing him this weekend. But you're not playing Haley, not playing Smithley, Balicki, not playing Quinhoff. Like it's Alfredo or bust. That's so if you need the money, go to Alfredo. If you need the money and you can afford it, go to McDowell. If you need the money and need it, play both of those guys. And so I would not get caught up on the Alfredo. I'm going to worry about being different at other places. And so I don't think you necessarily fade the guys who need to win. I think, at least with me, because I'm fading Larson just to be different. As I've said, because I know more and more people are watching. Most of my bankroll is for Daytona this month anyway, and so I'm not necessarily mailing this weekend, but I'm leaning more towards chaos, and so the guys who win, I think, have really, really high upside. The quote unquote boomer bust, because they're either going to win the race or wreck the field. I truly believe if I think DeBenedetto wrecks the field today. I really do. At some point, I think DeBenedetto gets caught up in a wreck, because this is it, man. He's got 2 races to get it done. And so I think the only fade of the guys who need to win would probably be McDowell. Personally, my player pool is people starting 10th to 30th. You could even throw Hamlin in there if you're fading Larson and want to focus more on place differential. But so that's where we're at. I like Bubba. Bubba was originally in my optimal. If I'm playing Larson, and I think Bell and Dillon are going to be optimal as well, I think you got to play Bubba. I think you got to play Eric Jones. You got to play Chris Buescher. You got to play Stenhouse. One of these guys to make your lineup different if you're playing the chalk guys. And so I don't hate Bubba at all. And so, yet again, let's kind of look at Bubba, which is why I don't mind Bubba here. And so when you look at Charlotte, 14th. When you look at 2 Pocono races, 14th and 5th. That 5th race, that's a bit sketchy with that DK sponsorship. Kind of sketchy there. I mean, that's an anomaly. That 5th place is way out of left field. That's a little too good for my blood. But I think Bubba has a chance of just finishing where he's starting or doing a little bit better. So I don't hate Bubba at all. And so I'm playing fucking place differential. I'm playing the guys that, I mean, you can look at my projections. Personally, I really like Bowman today. He's not the highest salary driver that I have in the lineup, but I like Bowman a lot. I think he's too cheap. I think there's a chance that the Hendrick boys, if Larson is quick, and even if he's leading, that means the Hendrick guys are going to be quick, because they've been quick all year. So I like a lot of the Hendrick guys. Obviously, I like Keselowski and Logano, just due to where they're starting, where their ownership is, and where their price is. Because if you're going Larson, it's difficult to get 2 of the I'll throw Bowman in there too. So if you're playing Larson, it's difficult to get 1 of Bowman or 2 of Bowman, Logano, and Byron in a lineup, especially if you're going Dillon and Bell. So I think that's the way to get different. I think those are the areas to maybe you might want to be overweight on. I know people are kind of hesitant on Byron because he's 10-2. But if he can get up to 5th, I'm sure he's going to get some fast laps, because he's got fast laps every single week so far. I don't mind that at all. Let's see. Yeah, Sterling, that was the second race of the doubleheader that Bubba finished 5th in. But I think that's sketchy. Look, anybody who sponsors a NASCAR, you're fucking sketchy as fuck, because NASCAR is a fucking losing sport. They're bleeding money out of every orifice. Like, so if you're a part of NASCAR at all, like you're automatically going up on the sketchy meter. And come on, man. DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, all these companies. This is just my opinion. I'm not trying to get sued or anything. But all these companies are here by skirting the laws. Everybody knows that. And they're only here because they're in here because of loopholes in the laws. Like, and so anybody involved in NASCAR, you're sketchy. I love Mobile One, but you're sketchy. Bass Pro Shops, you're sketchy. Busch Beer, you're sketchy. That's just how it is. Just let's see. What sucks about Alfredo is I mean, you could say that about anyone. I think 25th because if the Larson, Alfredo, Bell, Dillon lineup, like if these three idiots hit and then Alfredo finishes 25th, you have a top 2% lineup in that. It just depends on who your last two guys is. That's how it is. Only reason you're sponsoring NASCAR is I mean these. How many millions of these teams get in the COVID relief package, and then they're still releasing the workers and everything, and I'm so glad Brian Keselowski brought it up in his tweet because I totally forgot about it. It's not even necessarily you lose your job at the end of the year. As soon as you're done, if you're doing body work, as soon as those 10 cars are done for the last 10 races of the season, you're fired, dude. You're fucking gone. Hey man, if you're a pit crew member, you're fucking gone. We don't need to pay you that much money to put one lug nut on the car. And so NASCAR is a pretty shitty place for employment, man. All that UTI, you remember University Technical Institute commercials back in the day? You want a job in NASCAR? You want a job in motorsports? Man, that was a fucking that was a lie. That was they were lying through their teeth there, man. And so all kidding aside, how many cars on the track are on I'm telling you, man. So we got Richard Petty. Richard Petty ran over a little kid. So the 43 is connected to murder. You got Kevin killing Tony. You got Kurt Busch. So that's 6 cars right there that's connected to some sketchy stuff. Hendrick shot his own plane down, so let's throw the Hendrick cars in there. Had to make that joke. But man, like I don't know. My interest in this race is pretty low. That's just how it is. So I'll do something for you guys here. What do you guys? I'll give my projections out for 10 positions, and so we can do 1st through 10th, 11th through 20th, 21st through 30th, and 31st through 37th. So go ahead, type in the chat what area do you want to see my projections in, and I'll do that for you guys. Or you can just go my Patreon and get all the projections that I have, because the projections are legit for like a green flag race. All the rankings here are legit for like a green flag race. I'm just personally hoping they just wreck the field. Okay, so we got one for 10 to 20, and I'll give this a few minutes. I'll give it to like 9:26 my time, so next 3 minutes. So go ahead, type in there in case you guys want to. If not, I understand if you don't really care. Let's see, what other cars? And so let's talk about the chalk in the back while we're kind of waiting for you guys to choose what positions you want. And so you got Austin Dillon, Christopher Bell. I think you got to throw Daniel Suarez in there as well for the chalk plays in the back, because if Suarez doesn't have an issue, he's basically running an RCR car. We're expecting Tyler Reddick and Dillon to be top 13 cars at some point in this day, hopefully towards the end of the race. And so I would throw Suarez in there as a guy that I think you need exposure to. Is certainly if you want to get off Christopher Bell, makes a ton of sense to play Suarez over Bell. Makes a ton of sense to play Bell, Suarez, and Dillon together, in my mind. And so I think Suarez needs to be in your player pool. I think he's gonna hit 5x easily. So that's where we're at there. 5th through 15. I hate you, Sterling. I'll count that as 1st through 10th. Yeah, 5th through 15th. You know what? I love you guys. I'm doing 5th through 15th. I'm sorry. I know that was not part of the choices. Well, that's just too goddamn funny. So that's Truex to Bubba Wallace. Man, you guys really picked a stinker of a group. So let's see. Sorry, everybody who played the game, honestly, but that was kind of funny that multiple guys wanted to do this. And so this is where, oops. Why isn't it? I have to go each one? I'll just do each one. I don't really care. I got nothing going on today anyway. What is this? Why is this not copying over here? What is going on? All right, we'll just do it manually. Fuck it. 42, 35.3, 41.5, 49.1, 52.3, 50.59. Busher is at 28.45. Stenhouse is good old 27. 20.45. 43.1 for Reddick. And 32 for Bubba Wallace. Those are my projections for that range, or for those drivers. And so you can see that I have Truex rated as, the C.5, because I think he needs to be considered, giving him some fast laps as well. Kurt Busch. All right. 30. Oh, I meant 35. Not 65. Sorry. 35.3. And so, Kurt's a C because he's not hitting value, but I think he needs to be in your player pool originally. Kyle Busch is a guy who I think can lead laps. Personally, my projections are having Larson run away with this, but Kyle's a great contender to lead laps here. Same thing with Harvick, a bit cheaper than Kyle Busch. Should get at least 4 or 5 place differential positions, some fast laps thrown in there. Denny Hamlin, I think he can hit 5x. Just on place differential and a couple laps led, or a few fast laps. As I already said, I like Alex Bowman, 50.59, gets him to a 5.7x. I like him. Busher at the 25 or at the 28.45. Stenhouse, Jones. As I'm saying, these guys are ugly plays, but I think you need to consider them. That's why they're D's, and that's why they're there. I think Eric Jones is the least likely to succeed today. But that's how it is. Reddick, I already told you I love Reddick. I think he's gonna get at least 6 place differential points, maybe even 3 fast laps in this race. 3, 4, 5 fast laps easily puts him over a 5x value for me in the 7K range. And then Bubba Wallace, I have him right at 5x. And so those are the guys. Thank you for voting and everything. But yeah, the 32 is a 5x value for Bubba Wallace, which is why I like Bubba. Like, if he gets me 5x, if he gets me 32, and let's do. I'm gonna find the 5x for Alfredo. So at 30 points, Alfredo is a 5.1. At 32 points, Bubba Wallace is a 5. And so if you're competing against Bubba Wallace and Alfredo and they both hit value, I think Bubba Wallace has a higher chance of outscoring Alfredo for much lower ownership. And that's with, Alfredo having a ceiling day and Bubba just kind of holding his position there. Oh, if you're playing cash, play Alfredo. If you're playing cash, why are you watching this? I don't play cash. Don't ask me cash questions. I don't care about cash, man. If you're playing cash, then legit just play place differential. Don't even fucking worry about Larson. Let's see the whole thing. Well, I mean, Patreon. Go support me. Support the channel. That's where you can get all the projections at and stuff. I think Optimal can have Kyle and Larson today. If it does, then it's probably going to have either Alfredo or McDowell or Bubba. It's going to have maybe even 2 of the 6K ranges in the Optimal in that. As the week is on, I'm really liking Hamlin. I don't think anybody's going to own Hamlin at all. And so I think Hamlin is a guy. And so obviously, as you can kind of see my rankings, I follow what my projections are. I kind of do, transparently and everything like that. But if I had to re-rank them now, like, I think Hamlin, let's kind of highlight the guys that I think you need to have ownership to. And I think it's probably these 3 guys here. If Larson doesn't do well, he doesn't run away with the race. You can even throw in Elliott and Blaney in there, but for guys that I think have good upside if Larson struggles, I think it's Hamlin, Truex, and Bowman. For dominators, starting up front, things of that nature, I think Byron fits that as well, but I think you should be playing Byron anyway. Same thing with Logano, Keselowski. I like Keselowski and Logano for place differential, but I am not on board of them getting a ton of fast laps or leading the race. but that's just how it is. Raise your hand if you were playing Blaney and Keselowski last year. So that was pretty unfortunate. That sucked a lot. Let's see. Yeah, outside of that, I think. Don't worry about Alfredo. Don't just play the guys that you want to play. I mean, don't worry about ownership too much unless you're really playing that game, because it's gonna get crazy, man. It's gonna get absolutely crazy. Got crazy last week. I know it's Indy, but still got crazy. They still wrecked. Even when you know they're gonna wreck, they're gonna wreck. The track didn't cause the wrecks. These drivers are just dumb as hell. And hoping I wanted a blowover yesterday. We're not gonna get a blowover in the Xfinity series, but man, maybe we can flip one of these cars over today and get some real excitement going on. Play whoever you want, yeah. And really, if this does become a wreck fest late in the race, man, it has a good chance of taking out whoever was dominating all day, because I think they're in the most danger. Like, let's just say if driver A leads 130 laps and we have caution after caution and caution at the end of the race, and for whatever reason they lose the outside on a restart, or they get pushed back to third or fourth, well, then now they're really in the danger zone, because somebody could be trying to win this race who shouldn't win, goes up top, blocks, just like yesterday, man. And I'm not saying that because of what happened yesterday. I was calling this earlier in the week. But yesterday, Hemrick, fast car, got some fast laps, got wrecked. Austin Cindric, best car all day, got taken out. Bubba Wallace, faster than we all expected, got taken out. And so anything can happen at this rate. Like, Michigan has such a higher percentage of wrecks than most people realize, and a higher percentage of taking out guys who are performing really well. So that's why I'm kind of just embracing the chaos today. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Not gonna end it here. I'm just saying thank you for watching. Thank you guys for supporting me, checking out the videos on the channel. I know, as I said, we got NFL back next week. I want to say this really quick. Personally, I am buying NFL content for this season. However, I'm waiting till September. Not September. I'm waiting till, what the hell is after September? I just went blank. I'm pretty sure it's October. I just went blank here. Let's go, man. I'm like a baby. Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting till October, because if you're buying content for the NFL, when does the season start? Hold on, let me look. We're gonna go on a tangent here for the NFL season here. Where are we at, buddies? So preseason. So week 1 starts on the 12th, right? So like if week 1 starts on the 12th, well then if you pay for, I guess if you're paying monthly, if you're playing seasonal, it doesn't matter. But if you're paying monthly, August and last month is like the fucking worst month to buy content for, because Sunday's when the season starts, and so you get week 1 projections and whatever the crap you get. But everybody's been making stuff for week 1 for like a month now, and so there's really no edge on there if you're with a good content creator or a good provider, because everybody's been working on week 1 every day. You can find good content everywhere for week 1. So week 2 would be the first week that you get stuff for. Okay, that's fine. And then week 3 you get stuff too, because it's on the 26th. Okay, so you get 2 weeks of content. Well, after that, you only have the Thursday night game on the 30th, and then you're on the next month. And so if you're paying monthly, guess what? You're paying for week 4 in October, and so you're only paying for 2 weeks worth of content. And so that's just my 2 cents. I would not buy any content for the month of August, but that's just me. Kind of the same thing this year, where we had only 2 races and then we had the Olympic breaks. I thought that was a very poor month to buy NASCAR content for, and I was happy that people did, but it didn't make a whole lot of sense financially unless that money just doesn't really matter to you. But that's where we're at. Sorry I went on that NFL rant, but that kind of crossed my mind this last week. I was like, wait, why am I wasting money on September football content when I could just wait till October and get, a full month of football? So let's see here. And so let's look at other kind of popular cores and guys that I think are going to have ownership too. Dillon's going to be stupid popular. You have to consider playing him. I think Briscoe is a guy you can consider playing, especially if you build lineups that do not play guys in the 6K range or at minimum very high 6K range drivers. I think that's a good chance. That's a good way to play Larson and still be different. I think you need to have some exposure to Briscoe just because I don't think many people are going to own him. Same thing with Chastain and Eric Almirola. So Eric Almirola should have pretty low ownership because all the ownership is going to be going to Austin Dillon and Christopher Bell in that price range. And Alfredo's more expensive, or Almirola is more expensive than those guys. He's starting a few positions higher. His ownership should be way lower than Dillon and Bell. And so if you want to go Kyle Larson, maybe the play is to play Eric Almirola and then one of Dillon and Bell instead of both those guys, or play Eric Almirola instead of those guys and play Eric Almirola with Daniel Suarez, somewhere around there to try and get off the chalk in case that either bust or doesn't go through. Those are the questions you have to look at, or those are the approaches you have to see if you want to get different and you still want to play Larson, or you still want to play, popular dominator, and you want to get different. I think that's what I do here. Let's see. Oh, Brad, I didn't see your message. You retracted it. What are you doing? Yeah, Emmett Smith was already sponsoring Jesse Iwuji. They were already doing that, and guess what? They finished fucking last almost every time. Like, it's so funny, man. I've been shitting on Iwuji for years. Absolute years. And then it's wild, man. Overnight, everybody's hating on the poor guy, which is, I don't care. Like, Jesse should not be in NASCAR at all. He's only there because he's part of the broadcast team. He's in the Navy. That's the only reason he's there. Jesse does not have the talent. I know Josh Berry has the full-time Xfinity Series ride, but if anybody should be getting opportunities to be sponsored by legit people, it's people like Josh Berry. It's people like short track guys across the country who are way more talented than these kids or these people, and they're getting sponsorships from fucking Emmett Smith and stuff like that. Hopefully, Iwuji is going to be driving next year. They said he's going to be the full-time driver next year, and so over under, I say 13 DNFs, best finish probably a 18th outside of a super speedway. That's what I would go with. Average finish probably a 23 for Jesse Iwuji next year. That's what I would do. That's what I'd give him for next year. Same thing like Jordan Anderson. Like, Jordan Anderson fucking sucks. Anderson's terrible. Anderson is horrible. Everybody likes him because he's a nice guy. Okay, well, nice guys suck too. Like, that's how it is. You can be an asshole and be a terrible driver, and you can be a super nice guy and be a terrible driver. That's just how it is. Let's see. Agreed. Which one I love? Dude, I wish the SRX was a 40-car field. I'm like, that's the race. That was fun to watch. That's fun racing. Sure, they have their little caution thing to put them together. Not a big fan of that. But the car that they're driving, that's what NASCAR was. That's what we want to see. That's why SRX did so well. Not necessarily because of the big names, but because of the racing and the tracks they were at. That's what people want to see. NASCAR, what are we doing? No Quinn. I don't know why the fuck Quinn is still $4,500. It's ridiculous, man. If he starts DFL at any other track this year, or, next week, I'm certainly playing Quinn and the guys. I'm playing this is going to be like a 30-player pool for me next week. So I'm going to have ownership to everybody in the back next week. All the bad cars, all the good cars, don't matter. So I'm playing Quinn next week. But Quinn being $4,500 each week for 5 weeks in a row is wild. I don't understand that at all. I don't get it at all. Let's see here. See what else we got. Anything on Twitter? Anybody getting DNQ'd? Sent to the rear? Don't think so. Let's see. Yeah, man. Anybody watch that ARCA race yesterday? Man, that was wild. Or Friday? Dude, I would much rather watch an SRX race with no names in it, because those cars race cool, than watching this fucking ARCA crap, than watching this Xfinity crap. And then I'm a dirt track fan. That's just how it is. Larson wins, bud. Okay, I haven't projected to win too. Everything points to him winning. I don't know, like, I don't know the point, like, because people have been saying me that all day, like, man, Larson's gonna win, bud. He's the best at racing right now, but I have Larson projected to win. I don't know what the fuck you guys want me to say. I have him projected to win. That's just where it is. You're the thank you. Yeah, I got that too. I was like, dude, Larson. I'm just saying. I'm hoping everybody fucking wrecks. I only got $30 on this race anyway, so whereas I'll have probably 400 or 500 next week at Daytona. So we'll see how it goes. I guess you could going back to our convict comparison for the cars. I guess you could throw Larson in there. He's racist. We got everything now. So we got, going back to what we started for, we got Richard Petty. He killed a child, so that's one car tainted by murder or criminal activity. We got the 4 SHR cars. We got Kurt Busch. And let's throw Larson in there. Oh, yeah. Well, Larson was already in there because I said a Hendrick shot down his own plane with his son on it. So I guess he was already part of that. But, yeah. Let's see. Throwback to the California kid, Tyler Reddick, man. He was awesome in dirt late models. I love watching the Lucas Oil late model series and the off-road racing series. Like, I don't know. I like that type of racing more. And SRX showed, outside of Paul Tracy, you can take cars to a short track and just not tear up cars all day and have good racing. Yeah, dude, I wish they'd do a 40-car field of SRX cars and do a full series. Do like an 18-race series, 40 cars. That'd be awesome to watch. I'd go out of my way to visit those races. Let's see. They got 7 sets of tires today. Fuel around 46 to 51 laps. We'll see, man. I mean, it's leaning up to getting stupid with about 10 to go. I think that's what I'm looking for. I got Bowman, Dillon, Larson, McDowell, Reddick, DK Line. You and about... I think that's going to be owned by 0.2% of the lineup, so... Let me look. How big is this contest? Let's see. We got 23,000. I'll just do 0.2 at 23,000. Let's look. $0.2 at 23,000. 46 lineups. Yeah, I think that's an easy number to call. Probably 46 lineup. 46 other entries have that lineup. I think that's easy to. I think that's very relative. I think that's a pretty easy number to see. Yeah. So, yeah. Here come rolling. Yeah. I think maybe a little bit less. Maybe 20 lineups, but that'll be duplicated as well. A lot of duplicated. Like if Larson hits, there's gonna be a lot of duplicated lineups, or maybe not a lot, but I think it'll be very difficult to have a unique lineup. So maybe you have a uniquer lineup that's shared between maybe 3 to 7 people. But yeah, if Larson kills it, man, it's gonna be really chalky today. So keep that in mind. See, that would be a no bet for me, Jason. I don't bet. I can't do it here in Texas, so I don't really do any. I don't even really look at stuff like that. I look at Prize Picks, but that's about it. And I don't have anything on Prize Picks today either. But yeah, that would be a no bet for me. I don't think there's enough edge one way or the other to bet Harvick as a top 3. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, thank you guys for the support on the rant too that I made Thursday or Tuesday. A lot of people want me to start ranting more, so I had to keep it. Just keep that line or change it. Dog, that is all on you, man. I am not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here voicing my opinions. So you do you, man. Play that line, don't play it. Frankly, I don't give a shit what you do. I really don't. I mean, yeah, if Larson dominates the race, I think that's a good line. I kind of said, I don't know what else you want me to do, man. Keep on rant. Yeah, man, people love the rants, man. I think I'm gonna do one on driving this next week. Not NASCAR driving, but has anybody else seen an influx of bad drivers since the pandemic and everything happened? Like, every time I drive, I just see accidents like galore. I see accidents like crazy. You could do a racing pod. I would, but if I did it, it'd be over dirt track racing, and the audience just isn't there for it. It just isn't there. I love Hamlin top 3. What do I have Hamlin projected for? Let me look. I'm giving Hamlin. Giving him 4th. I'm giving Hamlin 4th in my projections. But take that, William Byron. Yeah, I like William Byron today. I know he's not getting as many fast laps as his other Hendrick cars, but I like Byron a lot. Like 4th at Charlotte, 3rd at the first Pocono race, 12th at the second Pocono race. So you can't. I mean, obviously each one is back-to-back weekend, but I mean I think that's where you want to look at stuff. And then, also we haven't even been to a 2-mile in over a year. Like Auto Club last year was the first 2-mile race that we've been to. If you're looking back in track histories and recent performances and stuff, and so there's a good chance that a lot of people just arrive at this track and it is the wrong setup. A lot of people, not even in the broadcast, a lot of drivers were saying yesterday that Michigan has lost a ton of grip. So if you came here expecting Michigan to still have that grip that it had, last year and certainly in the past, you might just automatically whiff right off the bat on setups. And so a lot of unknowns here, man. A lot of unknowns. Let's see. I'm such an idiot. No fooling that 0.2% of 23,000 is 46 because 0.1% is 23. I should have been able to have done that in my head. Nah, there's no way I'm making a dirt podcast, man. There's no way. There's no way. I'll talk to it with people, but there's like day to day, but there's absolutely no way I'm making a dirt podcast because I'm not doing it for 40 listens a week. That doesn't make time sense for me because it'd probably be 30 minutes a week doing that, and I couldn't do that. Couldn't do it. So we'll just keep ranting about stuff outside of DFS on the rant side. Let's see, 21 likes. I do appreciate you guys, because I don't like telling people to like. I don't like telling people to subscribe. I got to 1,000, got monetized. That's all I wanted. So thank you guys for being here. Let's see. I mentioned it earlier, but any drivers on the bubble right now who may get funky with pit strategy? Every single driver here. Everybody's in a must-win situation. What's your ownership on Larson? I don't do ownership. I'm guessing Larson probably 48%. I think that's pretty conservative. But I think when you look at how ownership's been this year, it's been really weird. If you want a good idea of Roto Grinders, I think Roto Grinders has a big pool. I think RotoDoc has a bigger pool in the smaller series, and then Osmo. So if you take all three of those projected ownerships for Larson, I think you'd get a good mean for what he's coming in at. I just off the top of my head, I think he's going to be like 48, maybe 47, maybe 42, but he's going to be in the 40s. I would say high 40s. That's what I'd put Larson's ownership at. On the contrary, I'd probably put Elliott's ownership at like 13. Blaney maybe at 22. That'll probably at 4. Truex maybe at 14. Yeah, that's kind of off the top of my head of thinking better. Who I like to finish better? Probably Bubba. Head to head. Let's see. You can also find that in the heat map because I have projected finish laid out. So what I got? I got Stenhouse for a 14th place finish. I got Bubba Wallace for a 13th place finish. Based on my projections, which you can get at BrandonCruzDFS on Patreon. But between that, it'd be Bubba. Slightly. Not sure if you want to take that bet either, because they're pretty close, very similar. Let's see. Any other last minute things, guys, that you kind of want to ask or anything? Because we've been here for roughly an hour now. You kind of know my stance. Not really interested in this race. I'm going to watch and just hopefully they just pile up cars in turns 2 late in this race and make it fun. Yeah, I think Blaney has a good chance of leading laps. We've seen him be very good at 2-mile races. Excuse me. Too cheap. He's far too cheap. And the only downside is he'll be on the inside lane on the initial start, so I wouldn't see him getting the lead until probably the second restart. But if for whatever reason Larson gets crazy or Elliott, takes out Larson right off the bat, Blaney would be the benefactor there. Probably the main benefactor right off the bat would probably be DiBenedetto, because he'll be the second car on the outside lane, right behind Larson on the restart, and so there's a chance that you see Larson lead into turn 3 with DiBenedetto in second, side by side with Chase Elliott. But that's about how it is. FedEx Truck just drove by. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully we get another winner. And let's see, straight up, I think I'm going straight team builds and hope that organization knows the setup over the rest. So that has been a thing that you could have done this year. I don't like doing team stacks in NASCAR, unless it's at plate races, because you'll see teams work together. But at Charlotte, if when we look at Charlotte, okay, yeah, sure, you could call it a team stack, but everything pointed to Larson and Elliott being fast and Byron being fast. And where did Bowman finish in that race? Bowman's finished 5th, and so sure, you could say a team stack worked at Charlotte, but it was also just the cars who've been fastest the whole time. If you went with a team stack at for whatever reason, you want to go all in on Joe Gibbs, which a lot of people did, not necessarily because of a team stack. Just Joe Gibbs was in a good situation at Dover. We didn't cash because they whiffed on the setup there. Same thing with Nashville. So I don't necessarily like doing team stacks in NASCAR. I understand why you'd want to, but that's just how it is. Yeah, hopefully it gets crazy, man. Hopefully it gets crazy today. Well, I want to see this. Hold on. If you don't have Pierce's sheet, I'm not going to say anything. But he's running optimal right now. Interesting. It's still going, not necessarily his, but I didn't really learn anything from that optimal that I didn't already know. I still think these would be pretty popular builds. I think that's about where we're at. You kind of already know where I am. So to sum it up really quick, I think there's a good chance this is a wreckfest late in the race. Larson, I'd either want to be 100% or 0 on the field. I don't want to be with the field today, and I'm just playing a lineup hoping chaos happens and hoping that some of the chalk in the back does end up working just due to the place differential, because there's only 160 laps in this race, the exact same as Daytona next weekend. Actually, no, today's 200. My bad. Today's 200 laps. Next weekend is 160. But even with that, you only have you got 50 laps led and 90 fast lap points. If those get spread out between enough people, it might end up hurting a lot of the high dollar plays starting up front who need a lot of laps led to outscore a lot of the place differential plays, because I have quite a few drivers projected between 40 points and 55 points across the board. So let's see, that's where we're at. Morning, JB. I'm just about to call it here because we've been live for about an hour. So I guess you can listen to the replay and everything. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you've ever sent a super chat, thank you. If you've ever donated on PayPal, thank you. If you've ever been on Patreon, thank you. And just thank you for being here. Consider, if something goes well today and I had some type of credit for it, consider sending some money on PayPal my way. If I made you laugh, or if you liked anything I do, send $1 on PayPal. We'll see you guys next week for Daytona, which is just going to be wild. I don't know, man. I was going to say I might stream the whole race, but it'll just be me screaming for a wreck the entire time. So hopefully they wreck today, man. Let's get some good fireball wrecks here. We're getting close NASCAR is trying. ARCA's trying to kill drivers. They're getting closer and closer. We might get it this year. We might get it this week before next week, so we'll see. Best of luck, guys.